So he came to me and was like, yo, I can only cut you a third of the money I'm supposed to give you. I said, you know what, man, I want to do these songs. You know what I'm saying?
See, Craig Mack used to come up in the studio, man, by himself. You know, so, or have man that whoever was driving him, whoever he was riding with, he used to come over in the studio by himself.
Did you hear about Diddy and Craig Mack's conflict girl? According to the streets, Diddy openly detested Craig, and we obtained the t-shirt directly from Diddy's bodyguard, Ken. You know what? This isn't true. Ordinary beef for discussing a music magnate who mentored a budding artist before discarding him like a hot potato. Why? Because he couldn't take Craig's brilliant success went to his head. Are you ready for this spicy story?
Also mentioned Sean, Craig Mack, and G-Dub. We already spoke about Sean in the last interview, so we don't have to speak on that. But Craig Mack, what was the reason for the fallout between him and Puffy?
I think it had more to do with his management. See, back in those days, bro, I think a lot of the guys who were managing and having managers, they was using guys that were close to them that really probably didn't know the business that well. See, Mace had a manager named Cuda, and Cuda knew the business, whereas the Mace got a damn good contract on his first contract. And I was hearing that Mace's first contract was better than Big's contract. You understand what I'm saying? So now, Craig Mack manager may have known a little bit more about the business than Puff thought he should have, and Puff told Craig Mack, and I was there when he said, yo, if you don't get rid of your manager, I ain't fucking with you no more.
Girl, allow me to transport you back to the heyday of Craig Mack, Diddy's golden boy. When he was more brilliant than a diamond in the rough, Diddy was beaming from ear to ear, and Craig was the talk of the town. Imagine this. Craig dumps lava in your face, and then all of a sudden, it's as if he's kicked off a musical explosion. The streets couldn't get enough of that rhythm that flows, that swagger at a kindergarten graduation. Craig was acting like a proud father showing off, as though he was the eighth wonder of the world. Look at my boy, he would say, starting around with Craig like a brand new toy. Craig was all over the radio in clubs and in your mama's car. He had everyone bobbing their heads to his beat. The Bodyguard informed me that Diddy was constantly focusing on Craig. You might have thought that Craig was Diddy's long-lost son or something, but keep in mind that success can have drawbacks, and as Craig was enjoying himself, Doy began to give him the side-eye. The Bodyguard spilled some piping hot tea about this, saying that Diddy was getting very twitchy about Craig's rising star. One minute, he was all smiles, and the next, he was being mean. Craig usually loved the Bodyguards, but this time he made different choices. The next, he was staring at Craig as if he had stolen his last cookie. Poor Craig, though, thought he was set for life, as platinum records sold out showed money rolling and like the tide, but he was too busy living his best life to notice the storm clouds gathering. Diddy's smile was getting tighter, and his hugs were a little less warm.
And Craig Mack wasn't getting rid of his manager. So it was that fallout. I think I seen on one of the video shows, and you see Craig Mack like this while Big and Puff is standing up and they talking, and Puff say, yeah, we're gonna do Craig Mack, you know, yep, take that, yeah, we're gonna do Craig Mack, yep, take that. We're gonna do Craig Mack album in January, and Craig Mack did like this, and looked at him like, what the fuck is you lying for? You understand? That's in one of that videos that circulated on the internet. But he didn't like Craig Mack managers, so he got rid of the guy who actually launched Big's career.
Yeah, I know the interview you're talking about. It was an interview with Puffy, Biggie, and Craig Mack, and they asked Puffy what was the upcoming plans for Bad Boy. And he brings up Craig Mack, and he say Craig Mack is coming out with an album. And Craig Mack, he looks at him with like this confused look on his face. But G-Dub, man, I want to talk about him and Puffy, man. What was the issue between him and Puffy?
Well, I don't know if it was a fallout or anything like that. G-Dub, him and Black Rob, in a sense, never left the streets. You know what I'm saying? And G-Dub Rob brought G-Dub to the label, and he wanted G-Dub to be his artist, but Puff took G-Dub as his own artist. made that money off him, and kicked him to the curb. So I don't think it was much of a fallout. He just couldn't handle. Puff is the type of dude, if he can't handle you, he gonna get rid of you. If he can't do what he wanna do with you, you're not gonna be in his camp. That's why he never signed DMX. And he signed the Lox, because the Lox was more comfortable for him. He thought the Lox would be more comfortable with him dealing with them than X. You know what I'm saying? So he signed people that he could deal with, and he worked with the people that he could deal with. If you're gonna be a head case or head problem, 9 times out of 10, he gonna get rid of you.
There was a problem, but what? When the Bodyguard first observed, he informed me Diddy began claiming that he was busy or had another meeting as an excuse for not being around Craig. However, the constables agreed with you that when Craig asked Diddy to pull out of everyone's iceboxes, he answered simply, "Let me counter." The streets were speculating that Diddy was spending more time with someone else, and the next thing you knew, Diddy had a new favorite. That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? But before I reveal that, let me tell you something else. Diddy was upset that Craig could handle his own defeat, that was only the beginning of the drama that was about to happen, and believe me, it's messier than a toddler eating spaghetti. Did you believe that? The Bodyguard overheard Diddy talking on the phone one night, saying that Craig was too independent and didn't need him enough. Craig was about to discover the hard way that in this field, your best admirer may turn into your worst adversary more quickly than you can say bad boy for life. True colors were about to emerge, and baby, they weren't beautiful.
Go back to this article by Rolling Stone about Craig Mack. They claimed that Craig Mack, he asked Diddy for money before at an event. And Diddy, he pulled out a wad of money with a smirk on his face and only gave him $100. You heard about that?
I don't know about that, but I could see Puff doing that, fronting like that. I could see that. See, Craig Mack used to come up in the studio, man, by himself. You know, or have man that whoever was driving him, whoever he was riding with, he used to come over in the studio by himself. And he would have confrontations with Puff. And I mean, they talking. You understand? Puff would talk in front of all of them because he showboating. He know he ain't gonna use Craig no more. But Craig needed the money. He wasn't even using Craig to write. If Craig needed a little money and everything like that, there was a lot of business going on. He could have either put Craig down on some projects for him to write. He wasn't even using Craig to write because he didn't want to have nothing to do with him because Big didn't like Craig Mack. And
damn, so he just sided with Big and everything.
Yeah, man. He didn't like Craig Mack.
Yeah, they also claim in this article that he filed for bankruptcy to try to leave Bad Boy.
Well, that's some legal jargon. Now, I guess he filed bankruptcy because he couldn't go no place else. You understand? He was trying to show that, you know, he didn't have no money. He didn't have nothing to pay his bills or something. That's some legal jargon that I'm not even familiar with that one, bro. But if he did it, it had to be for a purpose. Yeah, but you know that he was about to go home to death row. You know he was about to go to death row, right?
Yeah, I was about to ask you about that. Looking at this article, they brought that up too. They claimed that Craig Mack, he was about to sign with Death Row to get back at Diddy. They claimed that Suge Knight, he flew him out to LA, he offered him an advance for $200K in a recorded budget for $1.2 million.
Well, I don't know how true that is, man, but I know for a fact, Eric B was gonna be the president and take over. He's gonna be in charge of Death Row East. Him and Big D. You understand? Craig Mack was gonna be their first artist. You know Eric B and Rakim, right?
Of course.
Yeah, okay, you know that. So Eric B was gonna be over Death Row East. Craig Mack was gonna be their first artist. And then when Pac got killed, all that shit just went down the drain. Yeah, he was signing with Death Row East, but it was because of Eric B. I know Suge Knight cut the checks and everything like that, but Eric B had already made that, you know, that situation that was going to happen. Because at the time, Puff ain't want no problem with Eric B. Eric B is like Hammer, one of them quiet gangsters that nobody really know about, and you don't really want a problem with them. Yeah, so Puff ain't want no problem with Eric B. So if Craig Mack would have went there, it'd have been all good.
Yeah, and they also claiming that Diddy, he was trying to change Craig Mack lyrics and the way he dressed.
Well, Craig Mack was, like I said, he was his own artist. And that's why Big never recorded around Puff like that. You understand what I'm saying? I don't think you would get too many, like Big did like what, the double CD, Ready to Die. How many times you gonna see footage of him and Puff in the studio while he was recording and everything? Big did his shit on his own. Like when he was doing that Bone Thugs and Harmony, we was all in the studio together. Big was smoking, but Big didn't record that. Big waited about 3 or 4 days after Bone Thugs and Harmony record their stuff and recorded on his own. So none of them like to be in the studio with Puff like that, Craig Mack or Big. So I don't know how they can say that Puff was giving them ideas. You know, I've seen Puff tell people to change certain things, but I guess that's what a producer do. An executive producer.
Just when Craig thought he was sitting pretty, a new king was about to take the bad boy throne. But who could possibly outdo him? Hold on. What's that sound? It's the rumbling of a seismic upheaval in Diddy's universe. Craig, star enters. A. Christopher Wallace, another name for Biggie Smalls. Diddy's eyes glowed when the notorious A large guy with an even greater talent entered the scene, as if his birthday had been the rainy day. Christmas morning had coincided according to the Bodyguard, and he was behaving like a child who had just received a brand new toy and couldn't stop touching it. Now, get this. Diddy was spending more time with Biggie than with his own mother, according to the Bodyguard. Unbelievable that while Craig was out there believing he was still the man, Diddy's attention had gone elsewhere. Poor baby didn't even see it coming. 1 minute he was ecstatic, and the next he was on the news and Biggie was blowing up faster than a balloon at a kid party. His rhymes hitting harder than a heavyweight champion, and Diddy was riding that wave like a pro. Craig was beginning to feel excluded, according to the reports. He was attempting to get Diddy's attention by waving at his busy parents like a toddler, but Diddy was too preoccupied with his new adorable child to notice.
Well, I think that I don't know about the 17-year-old, that's one-on-one, or the 16-year-old. You said 17, I think I heard 16, but you normally right. But I don't know about that particular victim, because that's gonna be one-on-one and, you know. But that 10-year-old one, y'all, he done laid out about 2 or 3 people that was involved in that. I think he laid out a Bodyguard. And this is 2003, y'all. 2003, 2000, man, this is getting close to Gene Deal time, y'all. It's getting close to those days, y'all. But I ain't saying it, but it's getting close, y'all. He definitely got to know who this particular Bodyguard is. Now, this young guy, a young man, I guess he's a young man now, but he was a boy then. He said that he flew across town with a talent agent, right? That had a relationship with Diddy to get him in a meeting. To meet with Diddy, a 10-year-old, a talent agent. That person right there, whoever that person is, definitely will be before the grand jury within a week or two. Because they want to know, did this happen? Did you fly across the state and take him and y'all have a meeting with Diddy? A victim like that, y'all, whew, game changer, y'all. And there's too many people that's not connected to Puffy, which I believe if that talent agent did that and brought him and left him in a room alone and all of that, If that all come out to be true, and this kid can show that he been having some type of psychological issues and substance issues now and things like that, y'all gotta just stop defending Diddy, y'all. Those are the few of y'all that's in the comment section. Why you always talking about Diddy? This channel, I remember y'all used to say all I talked about was Snoop. All I talked about was Suge. All I talked about was Death Row business. Now I'm talking about something different. All you talk about is Diddy. No, I talk about whatever gonna get us some motherfucking views and whatever the hot topic is. Okay, motherfuckers? So before you waste your time typing that, if you don't like it, check the motherfucking off. I don't make you click on Bomb First channel when you see Reggie Wright face. All right, back to reality. So my only point is, y'all, that victim could be damaging. That person that transported him and brought him over there, I hope like hell it ain't KK, but that person gonna be damaging to Diddy. The bodyguards that they're naming now, you notice on both of those complaints, they all said a bodyguard took and locked them in a room, and I even think one of the persons got dismissed from the making of the band show because they didn't want to get down with the bodyguard.
The bodyguard spilled some more tea and said that Craig would arrive at the studio all fired up and ready to work, but Diddy would be in a private meeting with Biggie. Craig would call and leave messages, but Diddy was never available to return the calls. It seemed as though Craig had vanished overnight, while Biggie's career was taking off like a rocket with the release of his debut album, Ready to Die. It was as if someone had set a fire under the hip-hop scene. Biggie's success was there, basking in the glow of his success. Given all the attention Craig was receiving, he might as well have been on another planet when Biggie's CD reached platinum. The bodyguard claimed to have seen Craig's expression. He described it as being like seeing someone's aspirations come crashing down in four of your eyes. Since Craig was the one who put Bad Boy on the map, you would think that Diddy would have some loyalty, but in this game, loyalty is as uncommon as seeing a unicorn. Craig was beginning to feel cold, as if he had been left out in the cold without a coat. But let me assure you that this was only the beginning. The real cold shoulder was just around the corner, and was going to hit Craig harder than a freight train. The music business can turn on you more quickly than milk left out in the sun, and Craig was about to learn that lesson the hard way. Trust me, it's not nice. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, and stay informed. Stay tuned for more updates, and let's keep our news accurate.